Hi there, I'm Michelle, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're gently diving into a topic that honestly weighs pretty heavily on so many of us in our 50s, 60s, and beyond. If you've been thinking about your future housing options, whether that's downsizing, moving a bit closer to family, or exploring senior living, but you find yourself feeling inexplicably stuck, well, you are exactly in the right place. We're going to unpack a surprisingly heavy mental hurdle, which is the last home mental block. It's a completely normal barrier, and by the end of our time together today, you'll have the practical tools to gently move past it.
So often we just assume that any hesitation about moving comes from the sadness of leaving a beloved family home behind. But breaking through this block actually starts with naming what it really is. As this idea beautifully captures, this is not grief over leaving the house behind. It is fear of the house being moved into. When we believe we are buying our absolutely final, last home, the stakes become impossibly high, don't they? The next home quietly turns into this terrifying final exam with zero chance for a do-over. If you've been feeling that weight, I just want to tell you that your feelings are entirely valid. So let's explore part 1, the pressure of last, and why exactly it paralyzes us.
Now, you might be wondering, why is this specific decision just so paralyzing? Think back for a moment to your earlier housing choices. Maybe a first apartment, a starter home, or a move you made for a growing family. Sure, each of those carried some risk, but none of them felt permanent. There was always this unspoken next chapter waiting on the other side. If the house didn't quite work out, well, you could just move again. But homes that we consider later in life get silently labeled in our minds as the last one. And that single word, last, literally changes everything.
Once a decision gets labeled as final, our brains actually process it completely differently. According to Psychology Today, decision paralysis is a recognized state where the sheer fear of making the wrong choice becomes genuinely paralyzing. It can stop a decision dead in its tracks, especially if you happen to lean toward perfectionism. So remember, you aren't stalled because you can't imagine a simpler, easier life. You're stalled because the fear of getting this irreversible decision wrong has just completely frozen you in place. And if you're feeling this way right now, you are absolutely not alone in this. Data from AARP and Redfin shows that nearly a third of baby boomer homeowners say they will never sell. Another 30% have no plans to sell in the next decade. Now, while some folks are genuinely content right where they are, a huge share of this data reflects decisions that have just been quietly shelved because the stakes feel entirely too high. The house might not even work for them anymore, but the decision simply never gets made.
That brings us to section 2, reframing your next chapter by simply changing our vocabulary. We can really ease this immense pressure just by changing the words we use. The last home expectation is actually a quiet flaw. Very few people actually stay in one home forever without any further life changes. It just adds enormous, unnecessary weight to your shoulders. Instead, what if we embrace the next chapter reality? Your health, your family circumstances, and your personal preferences are naturally going to shift over the next decade. Your next home doesn't need to be perfect forever. It just needs to be right for your next chapter, with plenty of room to adjust later if you need to. That simple reframe, it is incredibly liberating.
So, has this mental block taken hold of you? Well, watch out for a few common signs. Are you scrolling through online listings like it's a part-time job, but you never actually schedule a showing? Or maybe doing exhaustive research on neighborhoods, but never driving over to visit them in person? Or perhaps keeping a running, endless list of reasons why now just isn't quite the right time? If you recognize yourself in any of these, please remove any shame right now. You aren't being indecisive, the decision has just grown too heavy. It is a perfectly normal, entirely human reaction. Let's look at how we can start shifting this mindset in Section 3, moving forward with confidence through actionable strategies. Breaking free from this paralysis really just requires shrinking the decision back down to a manageable, normal size. Step 1 is to focus only on the next 5 to 10 years. Ask yourself, does this fit where my life is heading over the next decade? That's it. Step 2, take a moment to gently trace your fear. Did you watch a parent make a really difficult housing decision in the past? Naming the specific root of your fear actually loosens its grip on you. And step 3, talk it out with a neutral party. This helps separate your internal assumptions from the actual facts on the ground. Ultimately, what are we actually looking for here? We are looking for a home that is simply right for now. That means a home that supports your current mobility and health needs, which, let's be honest, matter a whole lot more today than they did a decade ago. It needs to match your actual daily routine, not some romanticized, perfect version of retirement. And finally, it should leave you with enough logistical and financial flexibility that if life takes an unexpected turn, a future move wouldn't be a catastrophe. Your daily comfort right now is your true priority.
I really want to emphasize that third step for a moment. You do not have to navigate this alone. So many homeowners run these worries on an endless loop privately in their own minds. And while adult children usually want to help, they aren't always the easiest audience, right? Sometimes they might push a little too hard, or conversely, they might resist you leaving the childhood family home altogether. A neutral third party is just invaluable here, whether that's a therapist or a real estate professional who holds a seniors real estate specialist or SRES designation. Finding a safe, pressure-free space to honestly talk this through is an absolute game changer.
Letting go of the word last is what makes this decision actually possible to make. So from now on, whenever the thought of moving pops into your mind and you start to feel that freeze, let that be your gentle signal to just start the conversation. You are always welcome to visit our free resource library for practical guides on downsizing, aging in place, and senior living. But for now, I want to leave you with one really empowering question. If this home didn't have to be your absolute last, what would your next chapter actually look like? Thank you so much for joining me today. Take a deep breath, give yourself some grace, and I'll see you in the next explainer.